Welcome to the Secret to Immortality podcast, where we discuss how to be joyous, happy, free, and physically immortal in this lifetime. I'm John F. Harrigan, author, Qigong master, and founder of the website Immortalnow.com. In last week's podcast, we shared the story of how the secret to immortality began, its origin in my early childhood, my past lives, and purpose in this life of teaching the secret to immortality. In this podcast today, we're going to focus specifically on the threefold process of the secret to immortality, which is 1. Mindfulness for immortality, 2. Qigong for lasting life, and 3. Immortality coaching. In Mindfulness for Immortality, we look at how our thoughts, words, and actions create the life we have, for better or worse. In Mindfulness for Immortality, again, we look at how our thoughts, words, and actions can make a life of lasting physicality, physical immortality, happiness, joy, and freedom, or suffering, hardship, and death. We look at how we create our bodies, our minds, and this world with mindfulness for immortality. With Qigong and Qigong for lasting life, we practice a few simple yet specific techniques for longevity, health, and calm. If you haven't heard of it before, Qigong, spelled Qi-Gong, is an ancient Chinese practice that was both a martial art and healing approach for physical immortality. Eons ago, thousands of years ago, in China it was used for fighting, but also for healing. When the warriors got home, those who survived, healing physically, mentally, and emotionally. And as time went on, it evolved into a spiritual practice that led to the final stage of human development, physical immortality. My own Qigong instructor was mentored by Taoist Immortals, that's Taoist, Taoist Immortals in the Wudong Mountains of China since his early youth and continuing today. Medical Qigong is part of traditional Chinese medicine along with acupuncture and medicinal herbs, and we'll talk more about Qigong later again and again. And there are free Qigong exercises you can get started right away at our website, Immortalnow.com. Again, the secret to immortality is a threefold process. 1. Mindfulness for immortality. 2. Qigong for lasting life. And 3. Immortality coaching. Let's look just briefly at immortality coaching. My own development with the secret to immortality has been made possible with the help of influential mentors. The first was my mother, who from an early age would give me books on yoga, on Eastern and Western metaphysics. We would trade the books back and forth and share ideas. And my mother introduced me not only to yoga but to meditation at about the age of 12. Then when I was around 15 or 16, I met a very wise American master working on her own immortality process called translation. That was very influential. I gained a great deal, and that's where I really saw my life mission to embody immortality consciousness and to eventually teach the secret to immortality as I'm doing today with you. And finally, my last and current mentor of 24 years is a Qigong Grandmaster from Beijing, China. Further, in the area of coaching, of mentorship, and being influenced by others doing similar work, I spend time daily with a local group working on their own spiritual growth. While there is work to be done to develop with the secret to immortality, a great deal is transmitted in the company of a person farther upon the path. And this is the purpose and the reality of coaching and mentoring. It's so helpful when I can be influenced by and model upon others that are farther down the road than I am. And this is why we offer to everyone immortality coaching. With mentoring of this type, immortality coaching and mentoring, with mentoring of this type, you benefit by a close relationship with someone of experience, strength, and hope working on their own immortality process. A lot of this does get transmitted by osmosis. So part of the osmosis process is reading the free blog articles on our website, immortalnow.com. You can get started with free Qigong videos immediately. You'll find them on our website, immortalnow.com. And you'll also find a book. You can get a digital copy or a paperback copy called Qigong and Spiritual Growth. It's motivational, inspirational, and goes into more detail about the secret to immortality and the physical immortality process. For the rest of this podcast today, we'll focus on mindfulness for immortality. In following podcasts after this one, we'll go more in depth into Qigong and coaching. Now we're going to dive deep into mindfulness for immortality, what it means and what it is. So if you can, go to my website right now, immortalnow.com, and in the menu at the top of the website, click on blog, and in the search box at the top of the blog page, type in Mindfulness for Immortality. That's the name of our pillar post and article on mindfulness for immortality. So go to our blog at immortalnow.com. In the search box at the top, type in the name of this blog article I'm going to be discussing right now, Mindfulness for Immortality. Type in Mindfulness for Immortality on the main blog page at immortalnow.com. So let's go, and I'm going to read a little bit from this and then discuss it step by step. At the beginning of this blog post, it says, the secret to immortality is a threefold process, as you already know, that starts with mindfulness for immortality. Discover how mindfulness for immortality can help you create a better life of deep peace, lasting strength, and eternal physicality. So the first thing is, you may have heard of mindfulness. You have mindfulness in literally every world religion, every spiritual practice. But what has been popularized is the mindfulness associated with Buddhism. It is the exact same mindfulness associated with Christianity, with Hinduism, every other religion. It is not at all exclusive to Buddhism in any way, regardless of what you hear or may read. And mindfulness is an incredibly simple concept, and I really want to hammer that home with you. There are courses at universities on mindfulness. There are books. You can pay a lot of money to get to be a certified mindfulness teacher. Do I think that's okay? Sure. Anything that's self-development is valuable, but really, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to take a course and spend any money. Just go get a few books from the library or go watch some free videos on YouTube. Mindfulness is not complex or hard to understand or difficult to practice. You don't need to take a university course or anything of the kind. That completely defeats the whole purpose of mindfulness, what mindfulness is, and the effect it can have on you. Mindfulness is a dumb, simple concept anybody can accept and practice successfully. Quote from my article, mindfulness for immortality is awareness of our deep and powerful core. Now those are my words. Those are what mindfulness can really be. And we're practicing mindfulness with a purpose that goes a bit farther than what you'll read about as the popularized Buddhist mindfulness that I'm really not in favor of, the way it's been so popularized and presented as though you have to take courses and go to a university. That is complete and utter nonsense. You can do mindfulness immediately, this instant, by just getting calm, breathing easily, and noticing your own being and your own surroundings. Quote, mindfulness for immortality is awareness of our deep and powerful core, as I teach it, as anybody should be teaching it. What is the term mindfulness that we hear about so often in so many different contexts? And I'm reading now from the article. The Cambridge Dictionary on Mindfulness, quote, says, mindfulness is the practice of being aware of your body, mind, and feelings in the present moment, thought to create a feeling of calm. It does create a feeling of calm if you do it right and you practice it frequently. Mindfulness is simply calming down and not thinking about the past and not thinking about the future, but just calming down and paying attention to the present moment. It's that darn simple, but it takes practice, and you get better with practice, and you get more calm. Mindfulness for immortality takes the mindfulness practice to the deep and eternal core of our physical being, at the center of ourselves. Really focus on that. It's not enough just to use mindfulness to be relaxed, calm, and present. Let's direct our lives and how we're manifesting our physical bodies and how we're creating ourselves. Let's go to the immortal core of who we are and recognize it as such. Quote, the popularity of the idea of mindfulness, these are my words from the article, quote, has exploded in the past 30 years. It has many different sources and can be traced historically to just about any world religion, not just Buddhism. Yet the modern popularity of mindfulness has Buddhist origins, and people practicing Buddhism kind of want to claim it as their own. It's simply not true at all. And I really kind of bristle. I really think it is unhelpful to the secret to immortality, thinking you have the only way to do something. You have the secret franchise. That is complete nonsense. If you have a body, a brain, and a soul, you got all you need. Yeah, Buddhism can be helpful. Certain forms of Christianity, I'm sure, can be helpful, as can Taoism, Islam. Anything can be helpful as structure, prayers, meditations, etc. But nobody has the secret way, nor do I with the secret to immortality. There are other approaches. I'm just teaching you who you really are and what your potential is. So looking a little more at the definition and meanings of mindfulness. Quote from my article at immortalnow.com, go to the blog section, and in that blog section, go to the search box and search the article, Mindfulness for Immortality. Reading from my article, you can find courses in mindfulness at many universities. I think that's a good thing, yet I think it's a very sad thing, the enormous amount of money they charge for such a simple human idea, showing you who you are. We have courses, but we don't charge near as much. Quote, you can get certified as a mindfulness practitioner and teacher. Wikipedia, always a good source. Quote, Wikipedia says, mindfulness is the psychological process of bringing one's attention to the internal and external experiences occurring in the present moment. So all that's saying is mindfulness is the practice of becoming aware of the present moment. Wow, it's dumb simple, remember, which can be developed through the practice of meditation and other training. Mindfulness can be developed by simply sitting down and relaxing a bit and becoming aware of who you are in the present. It's simple. It is not complex. Moving down the article a bit, I say in the article, don't be confused. Mindfulness is awareness. It's a simple concept and should be understood in a simple way. Quote, mindfulness is awareness, the practice of being conscious in the moment. It's that simple. Quote from my article, simplicity or oneness is a powerful approach to life. Simplicity can bring us to the core of who we are. an immortal awakening, an eternal consciousness of being. Keep the idea of mindfulness simple. Please, it's not complex or hard to understand. Mindfulness is simply awareness of the present moment, practice over time. Quote from the article, as we practice the present moment, living in the present, not the past or future, we discover the immortal now and physical immortality if that's our desire or direction. And that is our desire and direction with the secret to immortality. Mindfulness simplifies our life experience and simplifies our sense of self. Mindfulness brings us to our core of immortality, making us strong, happy, and stable. So moving away a little bit from mindfulness, from integrity, from the calm of that, let's look at how we fragment ourselves. And again, refer to the article called, quote, Mindfulness for Immortality on our blog site at immortalnow.com. Go to, this is an older web article, but blog post article. It's not really older, it's essential. It's a pillar article on mindfulness for immortality. And to get to that article, you go to our blog page at immortalnow.com, as I just told you, and you put in the name of the article in the search box at the top of the blog page. Again, the name of the article we're discussing here, an essential pillar article for the secret to immortality, is called, quote, Mindfulness for Immortality. We've been talking about the importance of mindfulness for immortality, looking at how our thoughts, our words, and our behaviors create and make our lives for good or bad. And why not make a life that's physically immortal, happy, joyous, and free? We can do that, I promise you. I'm doing it now. I've been practicing it for most of my life, and I teach you how to do it right here on the podcast, The Secret to Immortality. So mindfulness brings us together. It grounds us. It takes us to the core of who we are in the present moment, making us calm, strong, and stable. But how do we fragment ourselves? The opposite of mindfulness. Let's look at that. Reading from my article under the headline, How We Fragment Ourselves, quote, the complexity of life can fragment our consciousness. We can search too long, too far, and in too many places for the one thing closest to ourselves, our deep and eternal being, our immortal core. With the subject of immortality, keep it simple. There's nothing complex about the secret to immortality. If an idea or concept in the secret to immortality seems complex, for example, if this subject, the subject of mindfulness for immortality, feels complex, I promise you it's not complex. The problem is that we do not yet understand the concept in the secret to immortality. None of the concepts are complex. In fact, in every way, getting to our core of immortality in ourselves and living that outward into the world, everything we do is about reducing and eliminating complexity to simplicity. Quote, the problem is that what we do not yet understand, when we do not yet understand a concept, and in our struggle to understand, we fragment ourselves. So let me go back to the beginning and start this paragraph again so you get a better idea. Quote, if an idea or concept in the secret to immortality seems complex, well, it's not. The problem is that we do not yet understand the concept, and in our struggle to understand, we fragment ourselves. In our struggle to understand, we fragment ourselves. By trying too hard on our own, we fragment ourselves, leading to the feeling of complexity, overwhelm, and stress, when nothing in reality is complex. I suggest to you the feeling of overwhelm, the feeling of stress, the feeling of complexity is when we are isolating ourselves intellectually and physically from the integrity of who we are and from connectivity with life. I suggest to you there really is no complexity. Complexity and overwhelm and stress are really an illness and not being well and in balance. Back to the article, quote, "When you feel overwhelmed, relax, step back, and be mindful." This is mindfulness for immortality. Quote, "When you feel overwhelmed, relax, step back, and be mindful." Stop trying to understand or make sense of everything. You aren't really going to get what you want and need by using the intellect. I suggest to you that the intellect is just a tool to solve a specific type of problem. It doesn't really solve the problem of life and death. So stop trying to understand everything. Take a break. Breathe easy. Go for a walk. Then return to the problem. Quote from the article, "There's more than you think." Quote, "Mindfulness for immortality is the same as the general term mindfulness, yet it's more. Mindfulness for immortality is a bit more than the simple idea that you see in the public of mindfulness. It's a bit more mindfulness for immortality. In fact, it's much more. With mindfulness for immortality, we practice living in the moment with meditation and positive presence. We practice getting calm and becoming aware of ourselves, our deep immortal beings. We embody peace and strength, yet there's more to mindfulness for immortality than this. There's more to mindfulness for immortality than this. The key to immortality." From the article titled Mindfulness for Immortality, under the heading, "The key to immortality." Quote, "Mindfulness is the key to immortality. Being mindful of what we're creating by our thoughts, words, and actions. Mindfulness is how we relax, let go, and find our core, our immortal being. With mindfulness, we gain awareness of how we give our time and attention to the world. With mindfulness, we slowly become aware and understand how we're creating ourselves, how we're creating our lives, and how we're creating the very reality we live in, individually and collectively. That's the end of the podcast today. There's much more to this article on mindfulness. I've only covered about a third of it or a fourth. So if you want to read more, go to our website, immortalnow.com, and go to our blog section and put in the search engine the article Mindfulness for Immortality. Also on the website, we do have an excellent course that has been decades in the making that you can take a look at, and we have a book for sale called Qigong and Spiritual Growth, and it talks about immortality. It's inspirational, it's motivational, and it explains a lot more in detail. So those things are waiting for you. Also at the website, of course, free blog articles. Get going. I suggest that you read them, and also you'll find links and free Qigong videos on our webpage. That's all for now. Again, to get going with the secret to immortality, we suggest, and this is on the blog article that I'm sharing with you now. The article is titled Mindfulness for Immortality. The bottom of the article, I have 6 links where we suggest to you how to get going, 6 ways, 6 avenues to get going with the secret to immortality today. We suggest the following. 1, and all of these have links on our website blog post article. 1, read our blog. I'm reading from it right now. 2, try our book. It's on the website. 3, do Qigong, free videos on how to do Qigong, explanation and description of what Qigong is, so you better understand it, better understand it. 4, watch the videos, watch the Qigong videos, and follow the links to our YouTube channel. A lot of great videos there, and I'll talk more about the YouTube channel in another podcast. 5, apply for coaching. However, before you apply for coaching, you need to take our course, buy and read the book, and have really studied the blog articles, at least a handful of them, so you're on your way a bit. So coaching will be most effective, meaningful, and useful to you if you have a little bit of background with the secret to immortality first. And 6, join our Facebook page, and there's a link. So at the end of this article, blog article, Mindfulness for Immortality, we have 6 suggestions with links at every suggestion. I'll repeat them. 1, read our blog. 2, try the book. 3, do Qigong. 4, watch the videos on YouTube. 5, apply for coaching when you're ready and have done a little homework. And 6, join our Facebook page. That's all for this podcast. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to take an in-depth dive into Qigong, telling you what it is, where it came from, how to do it, what it's all about, and why it's so important for the secret to immortality. Have a great day, have a great week, and see you in the next podcast. Bye now.